My sink was painted about 14 months ago with Plaster Paint Products. It's when I was first introduced to the company as the first big project I did. Because of the use that we give this 100-year-old farmhouse sink, I had some scratches. Nothing was peeling, even where it was scratched. It didn't want to peel up or come up. But we rub a cast iron skillet across the center bar there, or we set something in the bottom and sand it back and forth. I mean, it is paint. You can sand it off if you rub hard enough. So, very happy. Overall, extremely happy with how the sink has held up. Just wanted to touch it up. The other reason for doing this touch-up right now is that Plaster Paint is coming out with a new sealant that is supposed to be even more durable than anything we've had before, which I find hard to believe because I have not had a problem with this finish being durable. So I'm excited to see what we get with this new finish. And so what I had done to this point is originally I used espresso base coat. When I did the painting on the sink, I started with new surface. I used espresso base coat, and then I sponged in the color to give it the faux granite look. I did the granite look rather than just painting it a solid color because our sink gets a tremendous amount of abuse. I do paint projects, I clean my brushes, I put stuff in here, kids throw things in, we use cast iron skillets, I can't even think of all the things that we do to abuse this sink. And we don't have a dishwasher, so it gets used to wash dishes 2 or 3 times a day. She said jokingly, wanting people to believe that she actually does her dishes every day. And I do have a little bit of a drip in my faucet, so I've got a hose hooked up here, running down to a bucket on the floor so I don't get any drips while the sink is curing. I'll probably give it about a week that we don't use it at all, let it cure, so I can get the maximum durability. Okay, so I've got Peacock Metallic, Java Metallic, and Spun Gold Metallic on this plate. Those are the base colors that I used as accent on here. And so I'm going to sponge in some Peacock. So now what I'm sponging in is the Java. And I'm going right over some of the Peacock, and I'm going in different places on some of it. It's just kind of random. And now, to lighten the whole thing up some, let's get some of that spun gold worked in there. And I do a lot of paint projects at home, and so I'm often, very definitely cleaning my paint brushes and supplies in the sink. And I have painted over where I had some blue paint that was back there, and there was a little red paint on the side of the sink because, sometimes I'm messy when I'm cleaning up. All the time I'm messy when I'm cleaning up. And, the other thing is a lot of these paint projects I do might be some rusty old piece that I salvaged from somewhere, and I've got it in the sink, cleaning on it, scrubbing on it with cleansers, and being overall pretty rough to the situation. I try to use dish pans in the sink to protect the finish, and sometimes I forget, and sometimes the kids forget, so that's why we got a few scratches. But what I'm mostly saying is, considering the way we treat this, it's really amazing that it's done as well as it has. If I've got Peacock here and I sponge Java in over that, and I sponge a little gold in right with it, that's one look. But then if I go back and sponge in a little Peacock on top of that again, and a little Java on top of that again, that's where you get your depth. So I'm going to continue sponging until I get the pattern I want. I'm going to let it all dry, and then we're going to start with the sealant. Okay, so I got the accent colors all on the way I like them. I touched up the paint on the faucet a little bit. It all looks to be dry now. Giving it probably a half hour or so. And so I'm going to start with Plaster Paint's newest sealant, which I have a sneak preview of. And I'm going to start putting it on. I guess, actually, I just moved this all out of my way, but I'm going to move it the other way. I'm going to start in this corner. Now, I'm going to work rather quickly with this because I know very little about this. It's a brand new product. We'll be getting it on our shelves within the next month, I believe. And all I've heard on the feedback so far is that it is supposed to be more durable than the other sealants that we've got, which, wow. So, I've been having a little bit of camera trouble today. Bright lights kind of heating up the camera, things going on. But I'm continuing to work with our new Plaster Paint's newest sealant, which is said to be more durable, which is just crazy to me because our other sealants are so amazingly durable. And this is my first use of this new sealant. We're going to have it on our shelves within the next month, I believe. But I wanted to get a trial first so I can tell you what it's like and know what I'm talking about. So many firsts, me knowing what I'm talking about. Anyway, I had started putting sealant on, and my camera quit recording, so I'm actually now starting on the second coat. And I have got to tell you, the first coat went on very, very smoothly. Seems like this might be ever so slightly thicker than our other waxes. I may be imagining that, because if it's thicker, it's not much thicker, but it just, I don't know, it seems a little different going on. It goes on really smoothly. I mean really smoothly. Our sealants tend to be pretty thin. It has always surprised me that something that goes on this thin can be as durable as it is. And again, I'm shocked to hear that this is supposed to be an even more durable sealant, because I've been very happy with the others. This is supposed to be more of, I heard it said that it's more of a lacquer type finish. Now, I have to say, I got one coat on and let it dry while I was figuring out what's going on with my camera. And coming back over it, it is even smoother than it was the first time. First coat went on nice. This, I can definitely feel a difference. Where I was going over the paint, there was, I guess, a little resistance, and now that I'm going back over with a second coat of sealant, it's just as smooth as it can be. And I kind of go generally in one direction when I'm putting it on, but then I also tend to go back and kind of smooth out in different directions. I'm using one of our nylon, or well, synthetic brushes, I think it's nylon, that do the best job putting on the sealant so you don't have a lot of brush strokes. I tend to work out my brush strokes as I go along, kind of here and there. One thing that I want to say, when I'm doing sinks or tubs, the area that I tend to notice where I might have a little gap is in the corners. So I try to pay special attention that I'm getting those corners covered. So yeah, I'm kind of all over the place. I'll give you that. This is the second coat going on. I may or may not put on a third. I might, just because, quite frankly, I'm really enjoying this. But I want my sink, of course, to be very durable. I'm just going back and making sure I get those corners and that I don't leave any big drips. But this is going on beautifully. My word. It really hasn't tried to drip or run at all. It's just beautiful. And that shine is something else. So, back to what I was saying. This is supposed to be a more durable sealant than our other sealants. And this sink, I thought, held up very well for the abuse we put it through. But if I have a way to make it even more durable and it can stay shiny and pretty for me for another year, I did a horrible job painting that faucet, but I don't love that faucet, I gotta tell you. The sink I love, the faucet not so much. I see a drip, that's my fault. And wow, that is gorgeous. I'm more excited about this sink than I was the first time I painted it. Alright, thanks. So I toyed with putting on a third coat of the sealant, but I just can't see a necessity for it. I've got 2 coats of our new heavier sealant. I don't know what exactly it's called yet because we haven't gotten the ready to sell. I just had a sneak preview of it. But this is our newest sealant from Plaster Paint. Plaster Paint always coming out with products. You think that they've gotten the absolute best they could be, and then they shock us by coming out with something better. This sealant is supposed to be more durable, and I'll tell you, two coats in, and I absolutely don't see a reason for another coat. It's shiny. I mean, can you see that reflection there? It is shiny, it is gorgeous, and my sink has been completely resurfaced with it. And so I am excited to see how the next year. Did my sink a little over a year ago. It had a couple of scratches. I can't wait to see how the next year goes, because I can't even imagine that we're going to scratch this up. I'm really excited about this new product.